You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Hello everyone and welcome to Advance Rhode Island. I'm Dan McKee, Lieutenant Governor of the state of Rhode Island, and every month we do a show that talks about the things that we're working on in our office, whether it's municipal issues or long-term health care issues or small business issues. Today what we're going to talk about is something very exciting, which is a Lieutenant Governor Entrepreneur Challenge, where we're inviting high school students to present their business model and compete for scholarship money. So we're very fortunate today to have a couple people that are working with us out in the state to make this happen. And I want them to introduce themselves first. We have a young business owner, right? Kind of in that millennial category, on the fringe of the millennial category, right, Alyssa? So yeah. Tell us a little bit about your business. And we've asked Alyssa to help in terms of judging the competition when we actually whittle this down to finalists.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm Alyssa Baressa, and I own the 401 Studio, which is located on Main Street down in Wakefield. And we specialize in custom screen printing and embroidery and promotional products and pretty much anything that you need to make your company, your brand, your organization look professional and put together.
Yeah, and I visited the store. It's all in on 401. The 401 being the the area code for Rhode Island.
All Rhode Island based.
And we're all in Rhode Island. So we're going to talk a little bit more about your business, and I want to talk. Well, cool. Tell us a little bit, because we met at the 10,000 business program.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program was probably the best experience I've ever had as far as an education is concerned about business specifically. And I was really honored to be selected for the program. They will literally only educate 10,000 small business owners, and they're somewhere up around 7,000 already. So I highly suggest everybody apply. Tell your friends.
Yeah, so they can get that information through our office. They can just go to the Lieutenant Governor's office. But we've met with, is it Katrina, right? Is it Katrina?
Yeah,
yes.
Katrina's the director over there.
And she's great. And they are doing, and it's open to businesses, small businesses, that are doing as little as $100,000 of business a year and have at least 2 employees, right?
Yep, 2 employees, $100,000 in revenue, and you need to be able to prove like your goals and where you've been, and kind of show some financial budgeting, and yeah, you just go for it. It's a 3-part interview process. There's the application, there's like a callback, and then an actual interview.
Yeah, it's a 12-week program, curriculum by Babson College, which is one of the very finest entrepreneurial schools in the country.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
And it was an education in practice, not theory. Yes. So instead of just sitting in a classroom and saying, someday maybe we'll do this, it's like, no, you learn this, take this, apply it to your business, come back, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what worked, what didn't work. Yes. And you get to listen to your peers. So you're in a class of like 29 other business owners, and it's really beneficial to learn from each other more than anything, I think.
And so now you received some help, and now you're willing to give back to these high school students, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's great to have you on board. We're going to talk a little bit more about the process as we go along the show. Ken, please introduce yourself. I mean, we're so fortunate to have the credit unions of Rhode Island in particular be willing to contribute so we can provide scholarships, and we're going to talk about the scholarships. But tell us a little bit about what the credit unions of Rhode Island is, and also the larger group that's in the New England group that you're involved with.
Well, thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor. I'm pleased to be here. I'm Ken Poyton. I'm the president of PGE Credit Union, and I'm here representing all the credit unions in Rhode Island under the umbrella of the Cooperative Credit Union Association. And we are pleased as can be to be involved with this program. I'm sitting here listening to Alyssa, and I feel a lot better.
Yes. Well,
Actually.
it's definitely a very all-in type of Rhode Island type of an idea, and that's what we've been trying to do in our office to promote small business opportunities. And what better place can you go is right where the young people are. And we've had a show I've mentioned to you before we got on that highlighted high school entrepreneurs in the state of Rhode Island, whether it was with Goat Soap, with Rachel out in the Situate area, or whether we had somebody that was doing bow ties. I bought one of the bow ties, right? I think you said you heard about that. And now what we want to do is identify young entrepreneurs in the early stages to put together a business plan and apply to be a finalist, right? To be a finalist in this. So tell us why the credit unions would really be so excited about. I mean, I know you guys are all in on your communities, and tell us a little bit about your credit union that you're president of, where's located, locations, and that type of thing.
Well, PGE Credit Union we're located in Providence, right behind the main post office. Mainly the people that do their banking with us are federal employees. We were started in 1927, and in that time a lot of credit unions were seg-based. And so we started with postal employees, and since then we've expanded to government employees. Almost any government employee that works for the federal government in Rhode Island can bank with us now. Awesome. And I'm no different than any other credit union CEO. We want to make a difference. Everybody that works in the credit union industry wants to make a difference. And that's why we're so happy to be involved with this. We don't get up and go to work trying to figure out how can we make things difficult for people.
Good. We like that.
I think that's exactly what we want to hear.
Yes.
It really is different. I've heard it so many times. That's it. Whether it's closing from a mortgage or getting a loan, that's it. Well, it was a lot harder when I did it with such and such a company, and so that's what we're all about. We hear you, and we really encourage the high school students to, if you have an idea, get involved with this program. Apply. You can't win if you don't apply.
Yes, and that's what we're going to talk about. The application is up through, the deadline is up to May 25th. It's very easy to access. You can go to RILGEC, which is Rhode Island Lieutenant Governor Entrepreneurial Challenge.com. And let me just tell you quickly about where this idea originated. That's why we know this is going to be a big success. And to have the credit unions involved, which you're all over the state of Rhode Island, so you're in every community. And our theme of our office has been the number 39, because with 39 cities and towns in the state, and so we think everyone's important, and all the people who live in those communities are important. So to have our office be able to partner in with the credit unions of Rhode Island it just fits so well. Yeah. And so what the idea of this was, and I want to talk a little bit about how this came up, but I chaired the National Lieutenant Governors Association last year. And my last meeting, I asked lieutenant governors to come in when we were down in Nashville, Tennessee, was to give us a presentation of something that is really working well in your office. Not just an idea you might have, but something you actually implemented. So Lieutenant Governor Hampton from Kentucky gave a presentation on an entrepreneurial challenge, and it really caught our attention. So when we got back, we had our office, Andrea Pelagi, who does our communications, contact the Lieutenant Governor's office in Kentucky. That's how things work, right? You travel to try to find out good ideas. And so we brought one back, and we think that we have a really good one. So thank you so much for the credit unions. I want to let you know the contribution, the dollar amount that you're contributing is going to be well taken care of. We have a nonprofit in the state, Millennial Rhode Island, who was not able to be here today, but they're going to be participating, and they're going to be the fiduciary of those dollars. So when we get to the finals and we identify who the winners are, we will be able to distribute those dollars to those students that would be competing for the scholarship money. Wow. But it's really it's wonderful to have you here. And so, Alyssa, you're going to be one of the millennials that is going to be when we get to August. So the deadline is May 25th for the that's our timeline. Then during the month of June, we'll put some business people together to go through the high school applications and students' applications, and we'll whittle it down to 5. And then we want you on that panel.
I'm excited.
So, so how are you going to work with those young kids what are you going to tell them? Because you're a young businesswoman, and you've been very creative, as I'm hearing, on music, and share a little bit of that and your art things going on, and how that connected in with your business right now.
Yeah. So classic, millennial story. I was finishing college in 2008, 2009, financial crisis. I couldn't get enough money to actually finish. It was a total nightmare. And then you're kind of kicked out and you're like, okay, what do I do? So I did the whole part-time thing. I waited tables. I was pretty good at that. I nannied for a little while, learned really quickly I didn't want to jump into being a parent. And one of my friends actually got a job at a local screen printing shop in North Kingstown. They're not there anymore, but she did not like her job. And she was like, hey, Alyssa, I'm going to tell them they should hire you, and I'm going to quit. And I was like, okay. So I ended up taking her job, and within a month, I was their lead sales manager. And over the course of 3 years, I learned the ins and outs of the business, and I loved it a lot, but there was no room for me to continue growing there. There was no more money to be had. I had kind of climbed as high as I could. So I left, and then I missed it. And then my husband had been working at a completely different business for years. And 8 years in, he decided he wanted to buy it. So we gave our first official pitch, I guess you could say, to some family for some funding. And we got the funding, and we were in the middle of negotiating the purchase of this business when we found out on a Saturday we didn't have a job at this business as of Sunday. So out of complete and utter desperation, we formed the 401 Studio, is literally how this all happened. We needed to figure out a way to make money. We were engaged. We had a 5-year plan in place. We literally put off getting married because we had lost all of this opportunity we had put all of our eggs into one basket for. So don't put all eggs in one basket. That was a big lesson.
But that's how you get, you find your spot, and that's what we want these young kids that we're going to talk to over the next few months to be able to share their idea, share their dream. And you've done something similar with the young, as you told me, with like a young contest for singers, right?
Yeah.
So this is a natural one for you to be trying to help young people.
It really is. The first year of the studio, I had met a bunch of other local business owners. So Chris Simpson, another millennial owner of the Contemporary Theater Company, and our good friend Ken Tetzner, who's the owner of Phil's down on Main Street. We were supposed to be having like a village association meeting, and only the 3 of us showed up. And I was like, well, I have an idea for the dead of winter that'll be kind of a give back to the community. So we created what's called Wakefield Idol, and it's a 12-week singing competition. And we had contestants ages 13 and up compete in this singing competition, and every week I got to watch these people evolve and grow. And this year's winner actually was a high school student, and she's a senior named Charlotte, and she was excited because she needed the money for college.
There you go.
So,
Sure.
So you got experience on these type of things, and so that's why we're really excited to have you on board. Ken, tell us a little bit about why in terms of the working with young people and why it's important for the credit unions in the state of Rhode Island. We're working with young people. I'll just give you a little lead in terms of why I think it is, because we really need an economy in the state of Rhode Island. And we have a situation where in our community, in our state, where we're growing older, not younger. We're going to have 100,000 more people that's 65 and older in the 65 age group and older within the next decade or so. And so yet our population is constant, right? It's at 1 million people or so. And so just having that shift out of the workforce, we really need to work hard to keep our young people in the state. And I want to talk about a couple ideas that we're floating around to do that. But identifying young people got to be important to the credit unions in the state of Rhode Island.
It's very important. We're always looking for great talent. People that have a great attitude, that want to learn the business, and it's really an interesting business, believe it or not. It's people business and a lot of number crunching, but you learn a lot by doing crunching the numbers. And I really enjoy working with the young members, working on their budget. They have their first job and saying, okay, let's put a budget together. And they haven't been taught that in school. No. It seems like the home ec days when we went to school, they would teach that type of thing, and it's gone away. And so the ears are wide open, the minds are wide open, and they want to learn.
And I would imagine a number of your credit union members, families that have young kids that are going through school right now, right?
Absolutely.
So you certainly want to be supportive of those families and identifying really skill and talent that we know is in the state of Rhode Island, and we want to keep it here.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of talent in Rhode Island, and you have to blow your own horn. You have to let us know that you're there, right? You've got a company.
Yep.
You've got to go out and tell people about it.
Oh yeah.
So you've got to blow your own horn. I remember hearing about Jimmy Buffett when he had Margaritaville, and they were taking advantage of the name, and finally he woke up and said, he goes, I've got to take ownership of that because no one's going to care more than me.
Yes. So we're gonna get a couple Margaritaville's ideas. I think we really are. I think we're gonna get. I know that as a young man, when I was growing up, I was thinking about business and I would write out the ideas and opened up like a used sporting goods store and my dad's car wash and that type of thing, and just kind of tinkered around when I was in high school and in college. I did a fruit stand with my brother Mike, and we set up. We went down to the farmers market, pick up the fruit, and then we sold it on the side of the road. And then I was the guy that had to put it into this old pickup truck that was in my dad's oil business, and we went around to the neighborhood. So there's a lot. I'm sure that we're going to catch people. We just got to get the word out, and that's
right.
That's why we're here today. And the millennials of Rhode Island are going to play a good role on this thing. Their organization, which is a great organization, by the way. I think Alyssa's familiar with it a little bit.
I've heard of them, but I really am eager to meet them.
Yes, you really should. I mean, we were at a meeting the other day, and we're working with a number of college students at URI right now, and we brought them in to kind of introduce them to the young millennial group. But they're a really good match with having people like Alyssa, who's already been in business, and she just showed her path to business, which is not easy. We know in small business is not easy. Everybody thinks that it might be a little easier than it is. It takes a lot of hard work. And then they bring you in, and then have the millennial group, which is Choose Rhode Island. We're very, very fortunate to have this team that's going to be put together here. So, Alyssa, tell me, we want to just keep on talking about what's your message to the students out there? Because you've done it, right? And now, what's your message? Let's encourage them to participate in this program.
Not to sound like a Nike cliche, but just do it. Like, it's like you were saying, like, it's definitely a no if you don't apply. That's the first rule of sales. It's always a no if you don't ask. So go for it. If you have an idea, try to develop it. But I really think the best experience in life it's the learning process. It's not necessarily what you've achieved, it's actually how many times you've failed before you've achieved something, because every single failure is like, it's a wound, it's a scar, it's something you're gonna see and remember, and that's where character is built. It's like, so just try it, just literally go for it. There's nothing you can lose by not applying. Beyond that though, talk to small business owners, talk to local shopkeepers. Like, there's plenty of tiny main streets all throughout Rhode Island, right? 39 of them?
Yes, yeah. 39 cities and towns.
There's 39.
I can't repeat that enough.
there's 39 main streets then,
yes.
And there's 39 opportunities for you to go meet different business owners. And business owners, believe it or not, want to talk about the intricacies of business, the behind the scenes, because it's isolating, it's lonely to go through those things together, because you have to kind of keep a straight face and be a boss and present yourself one way, but on the back end there's all these micro lessons to be learned. And I think I personally take 2 interns every single year from various local high schools. I've worked with Charahoe, Narragansett, now South Kingstown, Middlebridge School, the Met School. I have currently a high school senior mentee from Narragansett named Bella, and I'm helping her with her senior project. And It just took her having the gusto and the courage to walk into the studio and say, I want you to mentor me.
Yes.
That was it. It was very straightforward.
And you were willing to do it.
And I was like, okay.
Sometimes you ask and you get what you ask for, and if you're asking for good things like that, it's great. I mean, for you to be involved with young people that way, it reminds me of my work with the Boys and Girls Club, and why that's so important. A number of the coaching and things that I did. In order to have a future, we need to make sure that we, reach out to our young people and encourage them to reach out to us as well.
Yeah.
So I think that it's really important. So this is the Lieutenant Governor's Entrepreneurial Challenge, and again, we can if people are watching the show and they want to get it's qualifiable to any 9th to 12th grader that lives in the state of Rhode Island. That would go to to a district school, a private school, a charter school, or home school, and also any resident in the state of Rhode Island that happens to be going to a high school outside the state of Rhode Island. We want to make sure that we're really reaching out to all these young men and women, and that we get them involved in the program, because we know it's important to our economy. And Ken, it's something that we know that. Entrepreneurial that can happen anywhere, and maybe you have a few examples of thinking about how is the credit union involved. That we know credit unions are historically involved with young entrepreneurship and trying to figure out how to help out. I'm not sure it's quite in your wheelhouse as you'd explained it, because it sounds more like the credit union that my wife Susan was involved in, that when she was a teacher in the town of Cumberland, and you had the Cumberland Credit Union, and of course we were able to get a little car loan here and a little this and a little that. It was really kind of neat. So, but it's got to be very important to the credit unions in general, to the economy in the state of Rhode Island.
Absolutely. We all are involved in one way or another at different levels. Many of the credit unions are much more involved just because they're a lot bigger. They have branches all over the place. They're easy to find. And, we're not as easy to find as Navigant or Pawtucket or Westerly. You take Greenwood Credit Union and Warwick. I think everybody knows where they are because they're on such a good intersection. We're kind of hidden. However, we all have the same goal. We want every member of the credit union to succeed. We're not thinking, again, how we can take advantage of you. We want you to succeed. If you succeed, we succeed. The state succeeds. And, you have, get your ideas, enter the contest. And you're right. You may not get a scholarship or whatever, but it's the start. It's the beginning. And, you're going to have some doors shut on you before that one opens up.
Oh yeah, my dad's success theory was always, keep on trying. You don't always win, but keep on trying, and that's certainly the lesson. I'll tell you, the credit unions. One of the people who works with Walter works with the credit unions, and he did a nice. You've been involved in a number of things, including the high school basketball and girls championships, right? And I did a little video with them because I did a lot of basketball coaching, and that's where I kind of got my feet wet in terms of working with very diverse communities in the state of Rhode Island. We did a nice video for that high school, but we're doing one now for the Entrepreneurial Challenge, and we're so excited that the credit unions are actually, jumping in and participating the way you are, because the more people who hear about this, the better, and that's why we're here today. But we really want to get the word out through the credit unions. We want to get it out through the business owners, the high schools, about actually getting that done. So we're really happy that you're doing this work, and I'm very happy that we have the support to make this happen. I was at Johnston High School the other day with my good friend Mayor Palacina, and we were walking around on one of the career days, and so we got the information to the principal there, and they're going to have us back, and we're going to talk to the students. Now, do you engage with? You've engaged with the students unbelievably. What you just told me.
Yeah, I have 2 students right now.
Right now?
Literally right now. Yeah, they're probably at the studio right now.
Yeah, that kind of gives me a,
Good.
we should
Hopefully they
be
work.
we should
I
be
hope so.
we should be incentivizing that for our businesses to get the right. There's got to be some level of a program. I wonder if there is something right now. I'm kind of speaking off the top of my head, but I think that if we want young people to really engage in our businesses and have entrepreneurial spirit, you wouldn't have not been in business if you didn't work for the, for that screen printing facility.
Exactly. I mean, and that was a paid gig, but it wasn't paid much. But that's where I learned everything and learned that I loved it. And I think once you find something that you really enjoy, it's easy to envision, how can I make this my own? I guess that's really it. How can I have ownership over this thing? Whatever that thing is. For some people, it's goat soap.
Yes, that's right. We love Rachel.
She's amazing.
Oh, yes.
For me, it was T-shirts, and really the foundation of my business is being able to interact within the community. I love being able to drive around the entire state at this point and be like, oh wow, like I help make their uniforms and their staff feels comfortable when they're working, or oh look, there's that landscaping crew that we did their shirts for. And it's just kind of everywhere you go, I feel like I, for the first time ever, really entrenched in what's happening here. In a way I didn't feel as a college student, in a way that I really didn't feel as a post-college student. It was once I became a part of the business community, I felt I belonged here. This was absolutely the right choice. And if I can help young people in Rhode Island realize they don't need to leave. They don't need to leave to chase the dream that they want to chase. They can build the dream right here.
Yes,
you just need to believe in
Millennial
that.
Rhode Island, Choose Rhode Island. We certainly, when I'm out and the lieutenant governors around the country, they talk about Rhode Island as being a beautiful state. And once we kind of align our, the ability to kind of run our businesses and small business and create these opportunities, it's great. I think that what the message that I want to be delivering to the families in the state of Rhode Island, regardless of which of the 39 communities you live in, that they're important, and their families are important, and their children are important, and we really are looking to kind of cultivate. It doesn't have to be someone, it could be in the manufacturing side of an idea, it could be in the service side of the idea. There's a lot of things going on, the computers right now, and in terms of, what do they call those things when you push a button on the computer? You're not a fan of that, but there's a lot of stuff going on there.
The app development?
The apps development. We've met with many people who are working that to kind of continue. And as you just said, you can be here in business in Rhode Island, and you can do business around the whole country. And we've visited businesses that are doing that, whether it's in the manufacturing, whether it's in the service, whatever the area it might be. You can, if you've got an idea out there, we want you to respond. And so, tell us one more thing about the why these young kids should be applying. They should be going to rilgec.com. I said that a few times. Deadline's May 25th. And then we'll kind of, but tell us give them one good reason why one of your family members or your friends should have their student apply.
Well, it's the challenge.
Yes.
And you might win some money.
Yes. Let's talk about the scholarship money here. I mean, this is not a small amount of dollars that have been contributed by the credit unions of Rhode Island. $10,000. There's going to be $9,000 that's going to be out in scholarships. $4,000 to somebody that is going to be declared the Entrepreneurial Challenge champion, right? So
that's a significant amount of money.
Yes,
it's a significant amount of money for the families. That we know that the payments and that, and we didn't get to talk about it. But I tell you, one of the things that we're finding, and I want to end on this because I think we got one more minute. But young students who are coming out of college, the student debt is one of the highest debts, probably the second highest debts to mortgages in the country.
Yes, it is.
And so we, as a state of Rhode Island, I'm hopeful that as we participate with young people, there are ways, and there are communities, municipalities now who hire those students are paying a portion or some of their loans. We have businesses, and particularly in the banking industry right now, when they hire someone, they're helping pay those loans as a reason to recruit them and keep them. And as small business owners, that also is happening as well. And I'm going to really get out there and work on to promote that plan. And hopefully, I know the banking industry is doing that, and there's other areas that we're doing the research on. I don't know if that's happened yet or you're aware of anything that's happening out there. But student debt is a big deal. And when Alyssa was off air saying, she's waited on doing some things because of certain expenses. So we got to.
Oh, sure.
Hopefully, this gives us an avenue. And thank you so much to the credit unions. We're kind of wrapping it up here, but thank you for that. And Alyssa, thank you for your leadership out there.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. I want to just say to everyone that thank you for tuning in to Advance Rhode Island. I'm Dan McKee. I'm Lieutenant Governor of the state of Rhode Island, and we're launching this Rhode Island Lieutenant Governor's Economic Challenge. And we want you to have go to rilgec.com. We'll put that on the screen. And before May 25th, bring your best ideas forward, all the students in the state of Rhode Island. I'm sure that it's a great idea. That's you got a laboratory in your family's basement or in their garage, like AKA Jobs or the guys that what's the guy's name, Gates or whatever it is. There's somebody out there that's got a great idea that's going to bring it to the state of Rhode Island. We can't wait to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for everything.